How's the new year treating you?
It's good so far. Yeah, just continuing a lot of new endeavors I started like towards the end of the year. So yeah, but it's going good.
Nice. And so what kind of illustrations do you do?
I do all types of illustrations. As you can see, I have some set up in the background. But yeah, I do a lot of traditional work. So I like oil painting, I like acrylic, watercolor, but mostly I just like to tell stories with my art. Like I like to make it seem like a painted movie almost. I like taking stories that I've like heard from other people or maybe experiences that I've personally had and I like just creating from that sense. So yeah. Also I do like custom work as well. So like if somebody just said they wanted to like have themselves as a cartoon character or something like that, I will do that too. So yeah, a little
Nice.
bit of everything.
And since you like to tell stories with art, do you plan on doing like a picture book or a film someday?
A picture book, yes. I actually dabbled in that before. It didn't really go as planned, but I tried to do like a children's illustration book. So yeah, I could definitely see myself doing more of like that type of work, in a literal sense of telling stories. But as far as like storyboarding, stuff like that, I don't really see too much of that, but I'm open to a lot of things. So I wouldn't say never, but yeah.
Nice. And do you prefer to do traditional or digital or a bit of both?
Traditional, definitely traditional. Being that I went to CCAD, of course, they made me like learn a little bit of traditional, digital, get into it, learn a few programs. So I had no choice but to like dabble in it. And I see like the benefits of it. I like it. It's cool. But mostly traditional. I definitely feel like there's nothing better than just like sitting down with real materials, being able to feel things and kind of just take your time with like what you're doing with your hands and how you see things. So yeah, I love traditional.
What has been the biggest challenge in making a traditional illustration? What's been the biggest challenge for you?
I would definitely say just like space. Because obviously with digital, it's easy to just like kind of go anywhere with it. Like I could just go to the park and have a tablet and a pen and just go crazy with digital. But like with traditional, obviously you need more like space and definitely materials to really do what you want to do. So I would definitely say like just space. Like even now I'm in a living situation where like it's not the best for as far as just like space and even like with oil painting, you need gamma saw. You can't just use gamma saw in a closed off room. Like it has to be a window or like some type of ventilation. So that's definitely one of my biggest struggles. Yeah, and I would just say like being open to new mediums. Cause like I used to really not like watercolor at all. But then of course going to CCAD, they offered a watercolor class. So then I was able to get into it and kind of see like what I could do with it. And I really like it now. So yeah, I would just say like staying open to new materials and actually having space and um yeah, space for the materials.
And we both went to CCAD. And did you graduate last year?
Yeah, I graduated the summer of 2023. Yeah.
That's when I graduated as well.
Yeah.
And have you been getting a lot of commissions lately?
Not lately. I've been more so focused on my tattooing. That's actually something that I wish that they would like stress more in school. Like if you're going to pursue a freelance career, you have to consider like clientele is your biggest thing. Being able to actually find work, put yourself out there, find clients, people who want to hire you for what you do. Especially if you're not like attached to a bigger agency or something, people who are gonna do that work for you. You have to be willing to do that work for yourself to like get those clients and stuff. So because I've been so much focused on like tattooing and everything else, I haven't really been able to do that, put myself out there for clientele. But obviously, you're going to build up like loyal clientele who automatically know who to come to if they have like an art need or whatever. So those people are always there. That's cool. So, yeah.
I recently got asked to do a anime illustration for someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He wants it in digital, and it's funny because I'm very new to illustrating animes. Like I've never illustrated animes before. I've done one, but that was just fan art. But
Mm-hmm.
this is my first time doing an actual anime.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Are you excited for it?
I'm sorry?
Are you excited for it to do it?
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because the first anime I did, which was a fan art, it was for the Goosebumps series on Disney Plus.
Hmm.
And two of the actors from that show actually support the illustration, which was very nice of them.
That's good. Yeah.
So, what inspired you to become an illustrator?
Like I said, just like when I look at the categories of like an artist, and there's so many classifications and that can get like too much sometimes, but when I looked at like what an illustrator is, I feel like that mostly aligned with what I wanted to do art for or what I do art for, which is to tell stories. So I felt like I was more of an illustrator than anything else. Just always having like a message behind my work. I like to do a lot of like concept work. And I like to make sure people can feel something from my work. Like it's always a meaning. I don't make a lot of like commercial art. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Or just like stuff because it's cute or whatever. I like to I don't know. I like to give a message with my work. So I feel like illustrators, they do that very well. Even if it's just like a magazine cover, you're getting something from that cover. It's telling you something, it's letting you know what's behind the cover, what you're about to get into. So yeah, that's
Nice.
why I like.
And for people who want to become illustrators, what is the best advice you would pass on to them?
Um, I would say ask yourself what you what are you trying to do? Like, what are you trying to do with your art? What are you trying to say? What message are you trying to convey? What's the point for you? If you don't really have an answer for that question, which is fine, because some people don't really have like a why they do art or like any type of message or whatever concept. They don't really get into that. Like they just want to create just to do it. And that's cool. But like if you want to consider yourself an illustrator or get into illustration specifically, I would say what is it that you want to convey and put that first always, even if like you end up doing freelance work or doing illustrations for other people, always put first what you're trying to say as an artist, what makes you you as an illustrator, what sets you apart from other illustrators, because a lot of people have the same say the same thing, like they're trying to tell a story as well. I mean, like that would be the literal meaning and point behind it, but what is like what you're trying to do with it? So yeah, that would be my advice.
Nice. And so there are two questions left because we're coming down to the end of the interview. Uh, the first one's from my mother. My mother has a question,
Mhm.
and she wants to know if there was a movie you could watch for the rest of your life. I mean, it doesn't have to be every day. It could, I mean, you could take your time to watch it as many times as you want, but it's just one movie. You have to spend the rest of your life watching one movie. What would that movie be?
It would be White Chicks. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite movies. I have like five favorite movies, but it would definitely be White Chicks. Yeah.
That's funny. That's my mother's favorite movie.
What? That's
Yeah.
crazy. Mhm.
Yeah, it's funny because I was in the car the other day. I went to my friend's apartment not long ago. He invited me for a small gathering, and the song I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's the one that that Terry Crews likes. It's the one
Yeah.
that Terry Crews likes, and it comes on and he says to him, "How'd you know I love this song?" And he starts singing it.
Yeah.
Uh
Absolutely.
trying to think of the name of it, but they used to they used to play it in a lot of advertising back in the early 2000s. It was in like a jam commercial or something.
Yeah.
Strawberry jam commercial. Oh, 1,000 miles. That's what it's called.
Yeah. That is it. I love
And
that.
for the final question, this is a retro show. What was your favorite retro product in the early 2000s?
Mm. I would say a video now. Do you know what that is?
Rings a bell.
It was like this little it's kind of square. Actually, dang, I wish I had it. I made like a wood sculpture of it, but it was like this little small kind of squarish thing and it had like a little player in the middle and you could like open it and put in DVDs. It would play like shows and movies, music videos, stuff like that. But yeah,
So
the
it's like a
video.
DVD player, like a portable DVD player.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny. I still have one from 2016 and it's still works. It hasn't died yet.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Because I remember like because I used to watch DVD like I watch things on DVD player like every night before I go to sleep I would watch something on DVD player, but nowadays it's either the TV or the tablet or something you watch movies on or TV shows, and especially with streaming. But yeah, no, this DVD player that I've had since this portable DVD player from 2016, no, it still works. It hasn't died yet.
Yeah, they don't make stuff like they used to.
No, they don't. Which I mean, in some ways, it's a good thing because DVDs are kind of a pain to deal with. That's just my experience. But although they do come in handy, just in case if the Wi-Fi wasn't working, you couldn't stream anything. It's like, oh, just pop a DVD in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Z, thank you again for joining today's episode.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.